Well, hello, good evening, and welcome back to live softball action. This is the CMAX Premier League, and we're coming to you from magnificent Gunner Lands in the Adelaide Plains in West Beach, South Australia. James Harris here, and alongside me is the dual Cath Coral medalist, Steph Trzynski, and Softball SA Life member, Lee Hull. Good evening and welcome.
Thanks, James. Really excited to be here on this beautiful night down at West Beach.
Ditto to that, James. Nice to see you again, Steph. It's a cracker of a night, isn't it? Should be named Guy Fawkes night tonight.
Cracker of a night. Okay, there you go. I just got that one, Lee.
That's all right.
Stumped me early as Sarah Tonkin's leading things off for the Sturt Falcons and fouls this one off. It is a big clash tonight. I think I say that every week, but it's in the context of the race to the finals. It's huge for the Sturt Falcons, who are batting first tonight against the Glenelg Rebels. It's 5th versus 6th tonight.
Yeah, it's games that Sturt need to win some. I know they've got a couple of games up their sleeve. Can't leave it at the last minute.
Strikeout looking for Sarah Tonkin. So Jade Peterson, who's on the mound, gets straight to work, the strikeout queen, and gets Sarah Tonkin, a quality hitter, looking.
Yeah, that hard outside pitch from Jade will catch a lot of people hitting. A lot of people looking. She spins the ball really well with that rise ball and slots that really hard outside pitch, and quite often.
Yeah, unusual for a player like Sarah Tonkin. She doesn't usually let too many go by.
Well, she just smashed that last one foul. It went all the way to the fence. So seems to be seeing it okay, but just got struck out on that outside edge, which Peterson likes to own, obviously, from the first batter, as Neve Adams now in the box. Swings, fouls, and that lovely tone that you hear in the background is Lee's mobile. Just breaking one of the first rules of broadcasting, Lee.
Other rule turning up.
Yep, so Jade Peterson v Neve Adams, Stars teammates, as was Sarah Tonkin with Peterson, Stars teammates earlier in the year. Katie Press behind the plate, calling the shots for Glenelg. High for a ball, Carissa McBurney at first base, Tate Nicholson at second, Courtney Shepherd in a new role at third tonight, and Megan Wheatley at shortstop.
Tell you what, we've got some good catches in the comp, haven't we, this season?
Great pitch from Peterson, gets back-to-back strikeouts, and well, it's the third Stars player in a row to come to the plate. This one's Belinda White, but Peterson off to a flying start with 2 strikeouts.
What a crucial 2 outs there for Glenelg as well, because you don't by any means really want Belinda coming up with runners on base and only none or 1 out. So what a great opportunity Glenelg had to really go at Bell and really take it to her as Bell cracks that ball centre left. Sophie walked up in left field onto it pretty quickly, but Bell looks like she's going to sneak in for a sliding double. Great
shot, just middles it early in the count. Don't want to risk getting deep in the count against Peterson. And she stands up at 2. A good start for the Olympian.
Well, they got the first 2 outs very quickly, didn't they, the Rebels? Now they need to shut them down right now, starting with Maddie.
Maddie Cameron, a huge threat. Had a bunch of RBIs last weekend. Swings early in the count, high and outside for strike 1.
Not unusual for Maddie to swing early, I can tell you that.
And off a pitcher like Jade too, who is always so economical and does throw a lot of strikes, like not mad at that decision by Maddie to go nice and early.
Checks that one. Belinda White getting off to a huge lead out there at second base. Almost like she's trying to draw a throw, but she gets back safely, and Cameron with a 1-1 count. Strike 2's the call, and Peterson getting that outside edge again, and she'll live there if you're going to call them. Ahead of the count, 1-2 on Cameron. She's not out of trouble yet, Maddie Cameron. Just a whole bunch of numbers against her name this year that no pitcher wants to see. As she crashes this opposite field, it's going to score the run. Good call from you, Lee. The throw from Kinnear out at right field hits the cutoff, so reduces Cameron to a single.
How often do we see this? You get the first 2 out quickly in the game, and then The third out becomes a bit of a task.
Well, the numbers I was just talking about was that 10 in the category of RBIs leading the Falcons team. So with first base open, Lee, I'm surprised you didn't call for a base on balls.
Yes, well, I didn't because I was too busy turning the phone off, James, but thank you.
I think early in the game, Glenelg really wanted to take it to Sturt and show that they're not afraid of him, though. So
Tash Straps goes deep to left field. Great catch. Taken by Walker. She read it pretty well. She had to back and takes a good catch, and she's receiving the high fives before she gives the ball back.
They're not easy, are they, Steph? Those back over your right shoulder, they're difficult. We saw Sarah do one in second to last Gilly Shield last season's.
She actually didn't want to give the ball back. She took it all the way into the dugout. There you go. Yeah, we've seen some great catches out at left field on this diamond, haven't we? We've been spoiled for talent. We didn't get to go around the outfield. It was Sophie Walcott who took that catch, Caitlin Carroll at centre field and Sophie Kinnear at right field, both featuring over the last couple of pitches, but it was Tash Straps who was the third out and retired. Sturt Falcons score 1. Well, now they come out to defend. So, Lee, why don't you take us around the diamond?
I've got the update from Diamond 2 at the bottom of the third. It's Seacombe 0 and Port Adelaide 3. And Port Adelaide have their strongest available side playing. I'm going around the diamond, am I, James?
That's what I asked, mate.
Thank you.
Thanks to Bar
just whipping that
66
into
and the Red Stars Cafe.
Okay, it's Ruby Fidge, the young Ruby Fidge, the youngest of the Fidges, the pitchers. Pitching the Sarah Tonkin. First base, Tash Straps. Second, Rachel Tonkin. Third is Neve Adams. Belle White's at short. And the outfield, left to right, Steph Gillette, Maddie Cameron, Abby Kennedy, who's very impressive as a young player, Abby Kennedy, I might add. And they have a DP, sorry, mate, Jasmine Strangland.
Yeah, Jazz Strangland's been doing a bit of their pitching, haven't they? Did you say there was Seacombe up 3-0? It's Port.
No, I said
leading
Seacombe 0 and Port Adelaide 3.
Okay.
Yes, that's all right, mate.
Just checking.
It's all right.
Yeah, you mentioned they got their strongest team, which means that Yo Grauer is doing the pitching tonight, so making a rare midweek appearance. Well, that was thanks to the Red Stars Cafe and Bar 66. So back to Diamond 1, we'll see Caitlin Carroll leading things off for Glenelg. And can't miss an opportunity to promote what's happening this Saturday. It is Pride Round. It's West Torrens home game. It's going to be at a special time. It's 4 p.m. this Saturday, the live stream. You'll be featuring in that game, Steph?
yeah, we'll be.
West Torrens taking on Port Adelaide.
Yeah, it'll be a big game. Always is. Always very competitive against Port Adelaide. Last year's grand final matchup.
We remember it well.
So Ruby Fidge is just trying to find a bit of a groove as Caitlin Carroll smashes this one into the alley. It's going to run all the way to the fence. Betty Cameron gets there to throw it in and reduce the damage to a stand-up double. Terrific lead-off from Caitlin Carroll.
Terrific, wasn't it? Your lead-off is what you need.
I tell you what, I just love Caitlin in that lead-off position because she has the ability to hit those, like hit extra bases, hit those doubles and triples. She's also really quick, so equally a chance that she's going to put down a running bunch. She's just so good at getting on base for Glenelg, which is exactly what they need, because they've got a few hitters behind her that can really hit her in.
Yep. Good point.
Also, Maddie Cameron picked that ball up barehanded in the outfield. I don't know if anyone missed that. But she picked that ball up barehanded and did a great job to actually keep Caitlin at second and read that and take that angle on that ball.
A couple of the Rebels starters, starting 9, Gemma Cochran and Bree McGee, both missing tonight. Gemma's got an injury and Bree's ill, I've been told, or sick, or either or.
Megan Wheatley hitting 2 then.
Been playing shortstop most of the year, hasn't she, Megan? Maxie?
Falls behind 0-2 really quickly, so takes that bunt opportunity away.
Gets enough bat on this to get up the middle. Rachel Tonkin couldn't get a glove on it. And Belinda White at shortstop has to pick it up, but she doesn't have a play at either corner. So I was just seeing if Caitlin Carroll got to third safely or not, which she did. Megan Williams at first, and runners at the corners for this lady on screen, Katie Prest.
I think last Friday we had an opportunity to see Glenelg offensively in a 1-3 split, but now we get the chance to see Glenelg. Sorry, we saw them defensively. Now we get to see them offensively, but more importantly, we get to see what Glenelg and Port Adelaide are going to. Oh my gosh, Sturt are going to do in this instance as well, leading into finals. Teams are going to get very strategic about exactly what they're going to do in this play.
I feel for you getting tongue-tied. It happened to me last Friday night, but we won't talk about that. As Katie Prest actually leads the Glenelg team in batting averages and tied leader with RBIs, so they've got the right batter up.
Good player, isn't she?
Yeah, she's been terrific for the Glenelg Rebels this season. She hits this one hard and fouls it off. Our producer Brandon working overtime at the moment. Thank you for the work you're doing. I'm not sure what it is. It's an antenna of sorts, but that's okay. We can still see the action, so we'll keep calling it. 1-3 split, 1-2 count. Change of pace from Fidge.
Yeah, that was some great discipline there by Katie. Great pitch by Ruby, just hit that outside corner.
What a night.
Doesn't need to hit into a double play here.
Oh, she gets enough of this one that's going to drop in. And the left fielder, Steph Collett, could do nothing about that as it drops in. Texas Liga style almost, as Caitlin Carroll crosses the plate to tie up the ball game. Katie Prest now outright leader in RBIs. Let's have a look at the CMAX replay.
See here on the replay that Carroll at third base actually waited almost until Collett had the ball in left field. Collett probably had a play at home plate there, but didn't even take that look because of how long that Carroll did hold up.
You got 3 consecutive hits there.
Yeah,
Lee, Steph,
from the first
you've gone error
hits.
on that second one, but it's a tough one for Tonkin.
That was a tough one.
So let's give credit to the hitting team. 3 consecutive hits to start off the bottom of the first inning, and Carissa McBurney now up to bat. And didn't she smash one on Friday night?
Went to the fence, didn't it? Right centre.
Yeah, 250-foot fence at Mount Barker.
Yep.
She's the joint leader with. No, she's not. It's Megan Wheatley who's got the other.
I have a 50-cent piece if you like to toss it up now.
Carissa McBurney's up there. She's been driving runs in for the Rebels all season.
Hit here will be handy for them. Keep the momentum going.
Ruby painting a nice corner on the inside, just a little bit on the chalk line. Umpire Damien McCauley says nope, 2 inside.
3-1, good hitters count for a good hitter. In McBurney as she watches the outside edge get painted.
Yeah, Ruby doing a good job of here of just hitting those spots. That's all she can do here against these a lot of quality hitters coming through. The best thing she can do is hit her spots and trust her phenomenal defense behind her to do some work.
Goes opposite field, gets past the glove of Tonkin. Runners all advance. Wheatley to 3, Prest to 2, and McBurney arrives safely. That one might be a red pen, I think, Steffi, as Courtney Shepherd now comes to the plate. So 4 consecutive batters advancing safely for Glenelg, and a timeout being called. Just to talk through it a little bit here for both sides. What's the message here, guys?
Who would have thought this game would have started like this? Not me.
I think all 4 of the Glenelg hitters have just done a really good job of punching the ball into play, not trying to overhit it, and just do their thing to push the runners around. And I imagine that's going to be the conversation now. Keep getting Ruby to throw those pitches. Most of these hitters have been going pretty deep in the count, seeing a lot of the ball and just punching that ball into play.
Yep. Now, for those that can hear Lee whispering, it's to Jill Williams, Softball SA Life member. I think they're talking about the sandwiches they got at the last function. But it was an error, official. Thank you to our team of scorers. Pete Williams is actually helping out tonight, and Lindy is colouring in the circle. So they got a team of 3 helping out tonight, the scorers. As Courtney Shepherd swings and misses. You'll hear the dulcet tones of Pete Williams on the mic later on in the season, I'm sure, as he's joined the commentary team. A handy addition, I would say.
Tough call.
Yeah, Pete was really good. Yeah, thanks.
Good eyes there by Courtney to see that up and out pitch. Tough call by Rachel over there to call that one an error. It was a really hard hit ball. She did a really good job of just getting a glove to it, which potentially saved a run in that on its own.
Well, loaded bases for Courtney Shepherd. She's missed a couple of games.
Yeah, haven't seen her this part of the season yet.
But still an impressive 333 batting average. And counts even 2-2.
We have some very good young players coming up through the ranks, haven't we?
Got the
She's one of
change
them.
up.
Not this time, though.
Yeah, Fidge has got a real good control of that change up. We saw one earlier that just missed, and this one on this occasion gets Shepherd swinging, so that's the first out.
And that's a great call by Sarah as well, to keep young Fidge sort of mixing the ball up and to sort of show her that she's got the trust to throw that change up in a 2-2 count with loaded bases. Like that there takes a lot of trust in your pitcher and your catcher, just be able to throw that in that scenario.
Peterson now in the box and fouls this one off. Just looking at some of the pitching stats, Ruby Fidge has actually got 20 strikeouts on the season, which is actually pretty good for the youngster. ERA of about 4, which isn't too bad for her first Premier League season, really.
No, it'll come down as she gets more experience.
Back-to-back strikeouts.
21 strikeouts on the season now.
Or 22.
22, yeah,
two in a row.
I was nearly impressed by your maths
strikeouts.
then, Steph. Nearly.
Ruby doing a fantastic job just keeping her cool out there. To come back from loaded bases, they've scored a run with none out, to strike out the next 2 hitters, which are both really, really dangerous hitters in their own right, to bring up the next hitter.
Yeah, we've got a courtesy runner over at second base. Looks like Shepherd's come on to run for Katie Prest. Tate Nicholson's the hitter for Glenelg. There's Courtney on screen. Low for a ball, and
So
the Rebels, who are in... Steph?
Oh, I was just going to say, one thing last week that we noticed about Tate Nicholson is she fell behind the count a little bit, but had really, really good discipline and actually picked herself a few walks last Friday night. So a walk here is going to score them a run. So that sort of discipline would be perfect in this instance.
Fouls that one off, and we'll get another go. 1-1 count. It's a 1-1 ball game here in the bottom of the first. There's a change of pace again from Fidge. So obviously a weapon that Tonkin's going to keep going back to.
Well, Tonkin is an absolute brick wall back there, so nothing's getting past her with a runner on third, as she so demonstrated just now.
Built like one too, isn't she?
Oh, she is.
She's only slight, but a ball of muscle.
She's mighty. She's very mighty. As Ruby fights back 2-2.
With 2 out, outfield comes in a little bit and swing and a miss, or fouls it. Just got blinded there by the replay screen. I didn't see the ball come off. Stays alive. So Rebels still runners in scoring position, and they really need to get bat on ball here because the first 4 batters did their job. They all got aboard. Couple of strikeouts in a row.
Great eyes there by Tay, again, to work herself into that full count.
Good discipline. You mentioned earlier about her, Tate. Impressive, isn't she? Doesn't panic.
Swing and a miss. So 3 consecutive strikeouts for Ruby Fidge to get out of a jam. And the Rebels, though, get 1 on the board to tie it up. 7 batters. They left 3 on.
That is some impressive pitching there by Ruby, and a great relationship, obviously, with Sarah behind the plate to get them out of that jam. On the flip side, Glenelg are going to need to really start capitalising on those opportunities because Sturt's hitting lineup, you expect them to score runs. With the likes of Tonkin, White, and Maddie, Cameron, and I mean, they go 9 deep, really. So Glenelg are definitely going to need to take those opportunities where they can, punch the ball into play and score runs. Because Sturt are going to score runs, they always are.
Always a offensive threat the Sturt Falcons. Now, I mentioned they're sitting 5th currently, but only played 14 games on 15 points, whereas the Hills, who are in 4th, who Sturt are trying to chase down on 16 points, have played 16 games. So 2 games in hand, I guess you could say, for Sturt to fight back for that 4th spot.
Yeah, so majorly important game, really. Every game for Sturt moving through. In fact, all of those teams really are fighting for that 3-4 spot. All the games moving forward are absolutely critical.
Well, Glenelg and Sturt will actually play each other 3 more times, including tonight, for the season. So for either Glenelg's faint finals chances that they've got, they need to beat Sturt 3 times, you'd think. And I think, you know, they're going hard early. They've taken their chances, and Peterson looks on song.
Oh, they've got absolutely nothing to lose, and they are a team that you cannot underestimate by any means.
Steph Collett just drills this one to centre left. Lead off with a single. Very important for the Falcons, and she's happy. CMAX replay.
Great cut by Steph. And Glenelg, again, done a great job. You can see Carol out there in centre field getting around that ball right away, getting that ball into second, because Collett easily could have turned that into a double.
And Steph, if you want to help advance tomorrow's healthcare and get paid for your time, log on to cmax.com.au. So we thank all our broadcast partners, especially CMAX. Clinical research is Jazz Strandlin, who's been an important player for the Falcons in the last few games. Shows bunt. She's been more of a B-grade player the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, she has, but with the risk of sounding repetitive, first pitch, bunt straight up in the air. I think I've seen that before a few times this season.
Well, not to understate the spin that Jade's put on the ball, as Collett takes 2 and slides in safely head first.
Yeah, but you see what pitch number 2 was from Jade? Flat-o guts pitch, easy to bunt.
I reckon you'd make a pretty good coach one day, Lee, if you keep at it.
But on the other side, you can see Steph Collett is safely over at second, so the job's been done.
Yeah, running in scoring position for Strandlin. She fouls that one off. Perfect night, no breeze. One of our signs has come down because it took the battering, so we'll get that one repaired and we'll get that one back up, I reckon, one of my faves. But another strikeout for Peterson as Strandlin just doesn't want to go after that outside edge, and that is Peterson's 3rd strikeout.
Abby Kennedy coming up to bat, lefty here, a little bit of a different look. I think we've seen on Friday Jade struggled a little bit with the lefties. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. Sometimes it can be a little bit of a mix-up, different line of sight, different vision, especially someone like Jade who does have that sort of curveball that will cut in at a lefty or away from a righty. Sometimes it can be a little bit more difficult to command that pitch to do exactly what you need to do with the added sort of barrier there of a player.
Excellent point, Steph. Kennedy fouls off pitch number 2, Lee, that was up and out of the zone.
I understand that, but getting back to that left-handed business, I saw the game live on Friday night, and yes, Jade had trouble with Talia La Rosa on a couple of occasions.
Who happens to be left-handed.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was the walks at the start of the last inning that really hurt Glenelg as they had a lead. Swing and a miss. So 2 strikeouts in the inning make it 4 for the game. And we gave you Ruby Fidge's strikeout numbers. Let's give you Jade Peterson's 83 before tonight to make it 87 on the season. So she is in quite good form to reach triple digits yet again, probably for the 10th consecutive season, maybe longer.
Update on Diamond 2. It's the top of the 4th.
Thanks to Bar 66 and the Red Stars Cafe.
Oh,
League.
yes. I'm sorry about that, James.
It's okay.
I was busy at the moment reading this out.
Support the softball community, volunteer-run bar, and You could have a whiskey and water, hold the whiskey. Is that's your
Whiskey
joke,
and water,
isn't it?
hold the whiskey.
That's Lee's joke.
No, it's not. I don't have any lame ones like that. Port Adelaide leading 4-0 at the top of the 4th.
All right.
Courtesy to our wonderful scorers here.
We'll you're broken one rule about having your phone on for broadcasting. Broken the second rule. Normally we do the score updates in between innings, Lee.
I'm sorry. I'll hang in there. I'll get the hang of this one day.
Peterson just peppering the strike zone at the moment, and Rachel Tonkin is on a 2-2 count. There's 2 out and a runner on 2 here in the second.
Critical at bat here. 9-hitter being Rachel Tonkin. She managed to get herself on base. And the third strike is dropped by the catcher, but McBurney has no problems over there, making the force out at 1.
So 3 strikeouts for Peterson, 5 on the night. She gave up a lead-off single to Steph Collett, but the Rebels are able to hold the Falcons at bay, and we'll go to the bottom of the second inning with scores tied at 1-1. Lee, do you want to take us around the diamonds?
I've been around the diamond.
Yep, it's 4-0 in favour of the Port Adelaide Magpies, and for those interested, Port Adelaide played 16 games and 20 points. They're 2 points behind Walkerville, so a win tonight doesn't guarantee them second because of their runs against. Walkerville will hold on to second regardless of that result, but Port Adelaide can go tied with points. It'll be 17 games apiece, 22 points apiece if they can hold on to that lead, Lee.
We're very blessed to have this information thorough from the superstar of statistics, Mr. Derek Roberts. Provided this.
Absolutely. It's a nice colourful graph, and you can see the points are in red. I would have thought the runs against would be in red, but that's okay.
I'll bring it up with him.
Points in, if I could get him points in bold, runs against in red, that'd be terrific.
Okay.
But he's also provided what the upcoming games are as well, which is fantastic. These two teams. Sturt will have the bye this Saturday, which is Pride round, but they will play next Wednesday night against Walkerville. So for Sturt to climb the ladder and secure a final spot, they're going to have to beat teams above them. So big clash next week between the Falcons and the Cats.
Which does include 3 games against Hills, which is that team at the moment that they are sort of fighting for that 4th spot. So those 3 games are going to be really important.
Great point, Steph. 3 games against Glenelg, 3 games against Hills still to go this year for Sturt Falcons. So, you know, beat those teams and you've earned your spot in the top 4.
Cracking pitch there by Ruby. Just missed that inside corner.
Ground ball to Adams at third, so Walcop's going to arrive safely on a tough bounce, yet to come in, maybe hold back. She's in 2 minds on what to do. Let's have a look at the CMAX replay. You'll see what I mean here. Waited for that second bounce. Really had no choice because it came off pretty hard. And Walcop's aboard, so lead off on for Glenelg.
Yeah, it's a tough play there by me.
Sophie Kinnear just trying to protect the runner, so it looked like bunt was called. Did she pull out in time? Question was called, and Acacia Van Marley is the umpire over at first base. Calls no swing. Who else are umpiring tonight, thanks to MK Services SA?
It's on plate. It's Damien Baby Blue McCauley. And at third base, it's David Brovnik. You've already mentioned Acacia.
One of the superstar young talent that we've got here. We've seen Jordan and Pete Fairley on the diamonds, but I think Acacia's got them covered, don't you? She's a terrific young umpire. Graduate of the Dragons softball program as well, so she can play a bit as well. Here's Sophie Kinnear. Up to bat, she patiently watches one go through for a ball.
Yes,
3 in 1 count.
Yeah,
I've seen her play at second base, mainly Sophie, but she's out at right field. It gives the young Tate Nicholson a chance at second.
doing a good job in this count here. Often when you have that sack bunt put on you, a lot of players get sort of so fixated on that they get ready to go at any pitch that's coming down. But she's done a good job of sort of staying off those balls with that bunt, and now she's worked herself into this full count.
Very experienced player, Sophie.
Ground ball to shortstop. Dangerous because it's White. Unassisted Oh, it was assisted because she threw it to first in the end. A put out at 2. She fields the ground ball. Let's have a look at the CMAX replay. It's an unassisted put out for the first out and then rolls the double, throwing it. Looked like she was in midair as she let it go. Let's have a look at this angle. Pretty in pink, that glove tonight for Belinda White.
Never any doubt over there. As soon as that ball was hit, Bella's absolute superstar over there at shortstop. Made that throw look really easy. She was contending with the base runner. She got the ball out straight. And really important out too for Sturt because returning over the top of the lineup, Caitlin Carroll, who had a double to centre field to lead things off in that first inning.
But how many times do you see that you don't put the bunt down and that you come up hit into a double play? We've seen it a few times lately.
There's the superstar Belinda White, staying loose at short. She's not trying to keep warm. It is a warm night here tonight.
Fidge still peppering those corners. I think that's what I can see the biggest difference from that first inning where there was a few people that got hits. She's really done a great job of sort of hitting those spots and not letting the ball carry too much over the plate.
That one did hit the plate.
That one did hit the plate. She's had a few inside-outside pitches that haven't quite been called, but she's kept her cool and continued to stay with those spots. Sometimes you'll see pitchers get frustrated and bring the ball a little bit too much on the plate. Not that I'm ever guilty of that.
Pitchers frustrated. Let me think about that for a while.
Base on balls, so
She's on the
Caitlin
game.
Carroll aboard. Brings up Wheatley, who had an infield single her last time. Found the gap up the middle. Tonkin couldn't glove it, but nearly stopped it. That one's a called strike.
Very still, isn't it? No breeze at all. Unusual for West Beach Parks.
Yeah, very still night. Wheatley gets a great piece of this one. Out of reach of left field, Collett.
There's a run.
Carroll's on her bike. She'll score easily as Wheatley's also on her bike. She's got to play at third. Stands up. Doesn't even slide on the arm of Belinda White. The cutoff. And Glenelg Rebels take the lead.
Cracking shot there by Megan Wheatley that we can see here in the CMAX clinical replay. Over the top of Steph, Collett in left field, she took that sort of last stride to try and catch the ball. But how important was that double play to stop those runners scoring?
Yep, could have been another run for sure. Great point, Steph. There's the CMAX replay of the runners. Carroll was always going to score as it went to the fence.
Yeah, quick runner. Meg's also a quick runner. That was, in my head, as soon as that was over her head, that was a no-doubt triple there for Meg's. It was pretty close, though, over there at third base. As Katie Press drives that ball to left field just under the glove of Steph Collett. Katie's going to turn 2, and she's going to cop that, but slide in, stand up like an absolute champ, ready to run to third.
Yeah, straight up. So hopefully she's okay. She's all smiles as we look at the CMAX replay. Just off the end of the glove of Collett. She throws it in quickly to the cutoff. And just Tonkin just out of place. And Katie Press will get a courtesy runner. There's Megan Wheatley crossing the plate.
I tell you what, I don't think I've ever been on the receiving end of one of Belinda's throws on my body, but I'm sure that would have tickled a little bit.
First pitch swinging, and Ruby Fidge does the fielding for the third out. But yeah, 2 runs score in that inning, and Rebels now out to a 3-1 lead. You can't count out the Falcons at any time, but so far so good for the Rebels, and they've got a good leader off the back of a couple of nice hits. Wheatley then pressed. Press with 2 RBIs in the game already and 2 hits. Wheatley with an RBI and 2 hits. Caitlin Carroll a hit and a walk. So the top 3 hitters just getting the job done tonight for Glenelg Rebels.
And Diamond 2, it's the top of the 5th. And
who's it thanks to, Lee?
Sorry?
Who's it thanks to?
Thanks to you, James.
Thanks to Bar 66 and the Red Stars Cafe.
You like saying that.
Volunteer run.
Yeah.
Bar and canteen. Keep going, Lee. Go around the diamonds.
I'm sorry when I'm talking when you're interrupting, James. But Seacombe have scored their first run. They trail 1-5. Top of the fifth, actually.
Seacombe on the board, which off the likes of Yo Grauer. That's awesome to see them still staying in the game, fighting and keeping back. That little pause in commentary, was flagged.
You don't have to say it.
By a James Harris Division 1 Best and Fairest trophy being handed over for us to have a look at for last season. I'm guessing that's an award that never got claimed.
Yeah, well, haven't been back after the hip surgery, but yeah, the mighty Harndorf Magpies had some success with them over the years. But thank you to Scott Fairley and Fairley Shoex. They're not a sponsor, but he's a good friend. So thank you for dropping that off and the embarrassment. Sarah Tonkin lead things off in the second
meanwhile,
inning.
back at the ranch.
She's gone to a 3-0 count.
Second time through the lineup here for Sturt, so we'll see if they start to make any of those adjustments. Jade did have 5 strikeouts through those first time through, so Sturt will be looking to cut that number down.
Hard hit of the ball, Steph. You've faced her many times, haven't you?
Absolutely.
Sarah, she can hit the ball, pull it hard to the left field or belt it up the middle.
Eye for a ball, so lead off aboard. How important's the lead-off, Steph? We talk about it a fair bit on the broadcast. As a pitcher, though, give us the opposite flip side of the coin.
Yeah, walking the lead-off is a bit of that cardinal sin in pitching. Often it turns around to bite you, especially when you've got a solid field behind you. As Sarah takes off on the pitch, stealing second, slides in pretty comfortably at 2. Now Sturt have another runner in scoring position.
Well, that cardinal sin turns into a runner in scoring position within 1 pitch, stealing on the first pitch. So Sarah Tonkin safely. Wasn't a bad throw from Press. So Tonkin obviously with some wheels. Bunt goes down second pitch, Lee. No one's covering first. As McBurney was down for the bunt, she read the play real well, but young Nicholson was a little late moving. Timeout called for this 1-3 split.
Do love that aggression from Sturt, like trusting the wheels of Sarah to get herself to second, as we see here on the CMAX clinical replay, as Neeb does a perfect job of dropping that running bunt down, creates a little bit of havoc over there at first base with coverage. Jade picks the ball up pretty quickly, but it just surprised the rest of the field and the rotation, so she was able to sneak in a sneaky running bunt to move the runner to 3, and we have another 1-3 split.
Yeah, Lee, I've got a quick coaching question for you here. Do you steal the runner or do you let Bell White swing away?
I'd steal. Just hold the bat out there as if you're going to bunt and let her steal, Neve.
And back the batter to
like
hit
that
from behind the count.
And that's what she did.
They just let her take over to third, second base. They didn't want to risk that runner moving from 3, but the risk, will it pay off with this batter in the box? I would have had a go, hoping to maybe get one out and reduce the damage, because if White hits, she brings 1 in. It's better than 2 if she hits Adams in as well.
But that's why I said she'll shape up. That brought the field in, the infield, you know, on the people on the lines.
Because, you know, I think these are almost up to date. Belinda White leading the competition, hitting .692, and in second place, .483, Amber Hood. So, are you going to risk it when there's a 200-point difference between the top batter in the competition and the second best batter in the competition?
I think the protection there is with Maddie Cameron.
Yeah.
On deck.
Yeah, but you'd have a ping at this runner who ambled across. She almost walked
you have
to second.
A ping.
I don't think they've got Saturday's games in there, James, on that you're reading there.
I think Glenelg.
Yeah, you're right, because Jordan Harris went 4 for 4 on the weekend, so that needs to be added on there as well.
I think you're right, though. Glenelg defensively absolutely could be an opportunity to see if you can get that runner over at 2.
Just double checking the count. So thanks to our team on our left, who gives us the 2-2 count. Did I see that right? Crushes it deep centre field. Carroll's got a job to do. And 2 runs are going to score. Lee, I'm going to use your saying, repeat of earlier message, and Belinda White stands up at 3. That batting average will continue to grow. Belinda White's RBI tally is going to continue to grow, and another extra base hit for the champ. Ties the ball game.
What are you going to use? Come on.
Caitlin got pretty close to that ball out there in centre field, as we can see on the CMAX replay. And Bell quite comfortably standing up at third. But Caitlin did a really good job. She actually got real close to that. She was shifted a little bit right side as Maddie gets slightly underneath that one, and Walkup's going to come in from left field and make a catch. What a phenomenal catch there.
Great catch, just at full pace. She hit the deck as she caught it, and Belinda White will score. It's a sacrifice fly. Let's have a look at the CMAX replay. Hopefully we've got a camera angle of Belinda White crossing the plate.
I almost thought she didn't tag up, but I think there was, after the ball, she had plenty of time still.
Perfect, no worries.
But there's nothing wrong with throwing the ball back there on the peeling. They can only just say safe or out.
You know, actually, on that note, when I was in Japan, whenever the team would practice situations like that, there would not be any runners on. Like, we would practice plays. As that ball just gets fouled behind. It would be routine as soon as a ball was caught in the outfield, they'd play home. It would be routine, they would throw it straight back to third base every single time. Even without runners on, it was just sort of that routine, always practice throwing it back just in case, you never know.
Never ask, you never get.
Correct.
Oh, tricky. No, Jade's got it covered.
Yeah, Jade takes a good catch. Well, 3 runs have scored in this inning. Sarah Tonkin lead off walk. Neve Adams arrives safely on a bunt, and then Belinda White hit a 2-run triple, and Maddie Cameron's sacrifice fly for the 3 runs, and then that out just then for out number 2. Steph Collett up to bat. Has a single already in this game.
Collett did start off the second inning with a single, but then got stranded with consecutive strikeouts, 3 consecutive strikeouts after her. So she'll be looking to get herself on base and give the next girls in the lineup a bit of a chance to start making some adjustments and punching the ball into play.
Yeah, always been one of her strengths, her batting, Steph, I feel.
Top of the third, Falcons have put a 3 spot on to retake the lead. They scored the first run of the game. Rebels scored one of their own in the bottom of the first. Then they put 2 on in the second, Glenelg Rebels, and they will get the last chance to bat. So it's been a good game so far.
Yeah, it's been a cracking game as Steph cracks that ball in the 5-6 hole, comfortably making her way up to first base.
Her second hit of the ball game. Part of that national championship team of 2022, and collegiate player and a national champion in the US in the NAIA. Very good player and a good acquisition for the Falcons this season. Here's Jazz Strandlin, strikeout victim for Peterson now. She had 5 strikeouts in the first 9 batters, and so far in this inning, yet to register one, batter number 7 of the inning.
So that just shows to me that Sturt have done a really good job of making those sort of adjustments, you know. Jade's always going to be around the mark. She's always been a really high strikeout pitcher. She throws good edges. Sturt need to adjust and to not try and overswing and just hit the ball where it's pitched.
And they've all swung early in the count as well. Pop up to second base. Nicholson under it to take the catch. You can't strike out if you're hitting pitches, first few pitches of each at bat. So Strandlin will pop up to second base, and the Falcons have a 4-3 lead second time. Collett was left stranded. Well, middle of the third, we're flying through, about 45 minutes in as well, so the halfway mark. And plenty happening, isn't it? It's anyone's game. There's a little bit on edge at the moment because both teams are striking. Every time they come to the box, always looks like something's going to happen. And, well, maybe it's going to be a game of defense that's going to win this rather than offense. The team that holds it tight, potentially. Otherwise, if we see a shootout, I'm afraid that the Rebels might be outgunned.
Yeah, I think Glenelg have been hitting really well to start off with, but you know that Sturt's always going to score runs. And what your defense can do to limit that will be probably the deciding factor.
Well, thanks to Derek Roberts, we've got the numbers in front of us. Glenelg are scoring at a rate of 3.94, so about 4 runs a game, whereas the Falcons are scoring at just a tad under 5 a game. So, yeah, Falcons with the advantage there.
With 2 less games too.
Yep.
So your man, Derek, also a Softball SA Life member, Lee.
Yes, he is. He's been around a while. It's
Well, you don't just have to be around to get a Life membership, mate, so you can talk him up a little bit if you like. Twice a national champion as well. Not too many people can say that, can they?
no, they can't.
Once with the Andy Fidge-led team in 2006. And
6, yeah, that's
once
it.
with Steph's team.
2015, we
Yeah.
remember it well.
Andy, of course, was the head coach of that team, and he was twice a national champion as well. He was part of both those teams too, but head coach on this occasion when Steph was player of the final right on this diamond.
In answer to your previous question, yes, he has talked about it a bit.
Ruby doing a really good job of hitting that outside corner, and you can see how much Sarah is sort of jumping at the last minute. She's so athletic behind there that it gives the pitcher such a good visual to be able to hit that spot. Sometimes when the catcher doesn't move as much, there's lots of benefits to that, but as a pitcher, I know I personally have such a good visual to hit that spot. As you can see her shifting last minute, so strong in her legs.
Steph Trzynski just bringing you all the best comments. And Lee, obviously, she doesn't like talking about herself as much as we do because she was part of that national championship winning team in 2015.
So is Sarah too, catching
As
that final.
Our commentary table's nearly fallen down.
As Ruby starts inning off with a strikeout. It's getting a bit rough over there.
Oh, gee.
There we go. I got it.
James weighing the table down over here.
We've got one out here. It's the bottom of the third, and Jade Peterson now in the box for the Rebels.
Ruby really starting to find a bit of a groove here. Those outside spots have been really, really important. She's getting a lot of those spots called with hitters looking, and then we're seeing some hitters sort of start to roll their wrists at that pitch as well. There's that change up by Fidge, excellently called by Sarah, but Ruby's having a lot of success with that one tonight.
Well, I wouldn't have thought I would say this tonight, but Jade Peterson actually leads the Glenelg team tied with Gemma Cochran for walk, so has a keen eye, doesn't she? Jade, a tough out.
Not always so typical of a pitcher. Pitcher's hitting.
Change of pace will get her batter, so strikeout looking. So Fidge is starting to find a bit of a groove here as she's gone through the first 2 batters. Strikeout, strikeout.
And you know, not only that, you get a lot more confidence by doing that when you're a young pitcher.
Yeah, had some success with this part of the lineup in that first inning as well. Does help her find that bit of a groove.
Yeah, those 2 strikeouts added to the 3 from the first inning, up to 5 for the game now, and has the same amount as Peterson.
Finds that inside corner on Tate Nicholson, who we spoke previously about her having a really keen eye and picked herself a couple of walks recently.
Getting your money's worth, I call it, Steph. When you go in the batting box, get your money's worth. This is tricky. but it's gone foul.
Yeah, bouncing along the third baseline, and as Adams had to run into charge to get it, and the speedy Nicholson probably 2/3 of the way up the line, she decided to let it go foul. So as Lee said, good decision. We'll reset. It's a 1-2 count now. Block from Tonkin.
She did all the hard work, and then she threw it away. Great block there by Sarah.
Two with 2 out. Fidge, 3 strikeouts in the first, 3 strikeouts in the third. They were all the same batter as well. To retire the third inning for the Rebels, 1-2-3. And thanks to Bar 66 and the Red Stars Cafe. Steph, you want to take us around the
Around the
grounds?
Around the grounds. So just the game over on Diamond 2 looks like it's just finished in the bottom of the 6th. And Port Adelaide have gone up 5-1 against Seacombe. So what does that do to the leaderboard?
Lee?
Sorry?
What does that do for the ladder?
No, well, let's have a look.
Well, we said it before, didn't we? Port Adelaide will go tied on points with Walkerville, but runs
Walkerville.
against. Walkerville's got superior runs against. So and Seacombe are the 7th place team on the table, and but they're improving though, aren't they? That's not a bad result against the likes of Port Adelaide, the reigning premiers, and you mentioned it. They were playing their best team.
Amendment on that one. Doesn't look like the game is quite finished.
They've still got about 10 minutes of game time to go, so we'll go into the bottom part of the 6th inning. So
Port Adelaide hitting.
Okay, Port Adelaide are hitting. Okay.
Yeah, the only team that can move up the ladder tonight is Sturt. If they win, they go above Hills.
Saw them out on the Barrett Reserves having a training. Maybe Kennedy lays down a bunt, and Shepherd just couldn't get a handle on it. I'm probably giving that an infield single. She was quick up the line. And the lead off aboard. Let's have a look at the CMAX replay.
Great bunt there by Abby. You can see her with that left-handed running bunt. She gets her feet set. She puts the ball down, really skids along the line. Shepherd knows the only chance she's got of getting her out at first base is picking that up barehanded, so takes that risk. Doesn't pay off tonight. But if she took the time to go in with her glove, there's a good chance that Kennedy would have already been safe.
Yep. And Lee, what happened first pitch of this batter? Went after a high one and fouled it off. Thanks, Lee. And goes after another one. Fouls it off. So 0-2 for Rachel Tonkin, trying to advance Kennedy.
Well, let me tell you something, James. Something you probably already know, but if you come up on the pitch, the ball is going to go up.
Swings. Fouls this one off. This one could be headed back towards the Gillian Williams Pavilion. And Steph, your life was saved by a terrific initiative by Jill Williams. That's why we are sitting under shade here tonight as Pete Williams holds on to a souvenir. Does anyone know any police? So someone's just pinched the ball.
I've talked about arresting something. He's arrested that ball, and now he's got a texter out, probably changing it or putting PW on it. No, not really.
Fouls it off. And
too many at home already.
So Rachel just keeping herself alive right now, the 1 and 2 count, a couple fouls, does a good job of just punching that ball out. That's that outside sort of curve ball that Jade throws. It catches a lot of people looking. Rachel identifies that, just punches that foul to keep herself in the game.
Well, after getting behind in the count, she drills one to centre field, advancing Kennedy to 2. Great shot from Tonkin. Back-to-back singles for the Falcons. Peterson couldn't get a glove to that one, and Wheatley was beaten at shortstop as well. Here's another look on the CMAX replay.
And that does a lot for Sturt right now, having that sort of like second lead-off position really in that 9-hole, because now we're bringing up the top of the lineup who's had a lot of success tonight with 2 runners aboard and none out.
See that pitch there? High and wide, just trying to tempt her in the bunting. She wasn't going to bunt that pitch.
Strikeout and a walk for Tonkin. She sits second for her club in batting averages, hitting .455.
Excellent lead-off batter she is, isn't she, in this competition? We have some beauties.
Gets under this one. In comes Carroll. Takes a catch. The runners stay put. Probably a smart decision as she took it in shallow centre field. She was quick around the outfield.
She covered a lot of ground out there, Caitlin. She was pretty deep here. We can see on the CMAX replay. Sarah just underneath it. Caitlin come in with a lot of speed. Straight away checks that runner at 2, who is pretty well parked there. Not looking like they're going to take that base.
Neve Adams gets one down. Running bunt is going to be safely aboard.
For the second time tonight with that running bunt.
Yep. Straight back to the pitcher as well. Let's have a look at the CMAX replay. And interestingly, Neve Adams sits second for the club in RBIs. So just showing off her skills with the running bunt. Able to avoid the ball as she passes it by. And timeout called here from both teams to have a chat. Caitlin Carroll actually leading this discussion. She came in from centre field to have a chat about that one. And over on the near third base, the Falcons are having a chat. What do you think they're saying to Belinda White with loaded bases?
Just make contact, Belle. I think also be really choosy. They're going to be really careful pitching to Belinda. Worst case scenario here with a walk, 4 balls, scores 1 run. So Glenelg are going to be attacker, but they're going to be really careful to make sure there's nothing that does drift over the plate. So but in Belle's position, she's just going to be really careful to sort of wait for that pitch to come over that plate before she drives it.
Lee, the umpires came together then. Did you pick up what they were talking about?
No, I didn't. Oh. I didn't. I was just about to say that one good hit here will just about blow this game open. We've played an hour. I think Sturt is threatening to blow this game wide open here. It's
4-3. Belinda White's got a double, a triple, 2 RBIs and 2 runs scored.
And a double play in the field.
Yep.
Steph's walk here might not be out of the question as Maddie Cameron's got a RBI single and an RBI from a sacrifice fly. So these 2 batters have got all 4 of their team's RBIs.
And it's probably the best scenario for Rebels.
Opposite field
She's going to score a run though.
That's not Sophie Kinnear. Sophie Kinnear out at right field takes a catch, so sacrifice fly. And the runner from first has to stay put, so it's a runners at 1-3. Let's have a look at the CMAX replay.
Yeah, Belle does a good job of just punching her hands right side, staying back on it, just underneath it, but perfect sacrifice fly. Doesn't try and do too much, scores a run for her team.
3rd RBI of the game. I thought Sophie Kinnear was terrific, read it well. It's deep out there at right field. This one's popped up. First pitch swing. Carissa McBurney's underneath it, takes a catch for the 3rd out. So after loaded bases with Belinda White, the Rebels get out of that inning only giving up the 1 run. So that was pretty good to defend that last few batters of the inning.
Certainly was. Were you surprised that Maddie went first pitch though, with plenty of people out there on bases?
Maddie's an aggressive hitter.
Yeah, I understand that, but
yeah, she's been hitting the ball relatively well all night and stirred it up a couple runs here. They're really just looking to punch the ball and play. I don't think that's unlike Maddie, and I don't think that's unwarranted, especially with a pitcher like Jade, who's always going to be around the mark.
Yeah, Maddie Cameron, no strikeouts for the season. And 4 walks. She doesn't hang around very often. She's got a 500 average with runners in scoring positions and a 433 average for the season with 10 RBIs, 6 extra base hits. I'm going to back her to swing first pitch. Ruby Fidge just going through the motions, warming up here in the middle of the 4th. So the bottom half of this 4th inning will bring up the number 8 and 9 hitters for Glenelg.
So Sophie Walkup starting off that last inning with a hit to Neve. That took a bad hop. And then got doubled up in that play by Belinda White before we Glenelg drove home a couple runs on a Katie Prest hit.
Oh, another good piece of the ball. This time Adams decides to come and get it. There was never a question on the arm because it's elite. And she comes in and fires it across to Straps for the first out. So first pitch swinging for Walkup, and that's the first out.
That arm of Neve is going to beat a lot of people, isn't it? So strong.
Hard hit ball. She picked it up pretty cleanly as well.
On top of it, like James mentioned, get on top of those. That was the difference between that one and the previous one.
Sophie Kinnear. Ground ball to short. Belinda White takes it and fires it across. Another lead arm there on the left side of the diamond for the Falcons.
And that was a similar hit to what Sophie had the previous, and it went in the double play. You remember the first turn at bat.
A little more up the middle the first time, but still to the same player. So you're right on it, Lele. Right on it.
I am surprised.
So Caitlin Carroll up to the bat tonight. She's doing a fantastic job for Glenelg with a lead-off double in the first inning, and she picked a walk in the second inning.
Having a big night.
Yeah, she's a fantastic lead-off hitter. She does so much for the team. She's a quick runner. She can put a bunt down. She can hit for power. So everything you want in a lead-off hitter.
Just off the end of the bat, so a slight mishit will be taken comfortably by Tash Straps for the third out. So a 1-2-3 inning. It's 7 retired in a row for the Rebels. And the Falcons consolidate their 2-run lead, and after 4, it's 5-3. Got an update for us thanks to Bar 66 of the Red Stars Cafe.
We do have a Bar 66 update. The Seacon Port game has finished up. Port tacked on a few runs in the end there to win 8-1. So only the 1 run against for Port Adelaide, but those extra 2 points are going to put them tied on points with Walkerville in second position, but Walkerville do have a lower runs against. So we're still looking at West Torrens 1, Walkerville 2, Port Adelaide 3 as it stands at the moment.
Yeah, Araha Munro had an RBI hit in the 4th inning for the Tigers, 1 run. And another big night for Jess Golden for Port Adelaide, 3 for 3 with an RBI. And Charlize Callahan and Taylor Chillingworth both had 2 RBIs apiece as well. So multiple hits from Grauer, Maslin and Callahan and Golden. So some of their big names getting some big hits.
Yeah, coming to the fore at the right time.
Here's Tash Straps.
Good pitch, that one. Just a little bit of height to it. Force to the plate in the air.
Yeah, into foul territory, and we'll be able to reset. Tash Straps will live again. A couple of pop-ups tonight for Straps. So we know that she's an accomplished player and a good batter. She can hit a hard flat ball.
I'd throw it up again.
1-2 count.
Some batters like the high pitches, don't they, Steph? And they cannot stay out of them.
Are you insinuating something about me, Lee?
No. I was talking about you as a pitcher then. So you're a batter as well, I see. Okay. Yes, I've seen you hit the ball very hard when you make contact.
When I make contact.
No,
I won't pretend that wasn't a bit of a backhanded compliment.
Strap sales that one off. Try and get out of that one, Lee.
Well, it's the fact that you've got to make contact, don't you?
It's all right. It's all right. I think we put that to bed now.
3-2 count. We got a full count here for Straps, leading off the 5th. Outside edge. She will go to first base on balls.
To bring up Steph Collette, who is 2 for 2 tonight. A couple hits.
How's Tash Straps? 4th in the club for batting average, 320. .412 batting average with runner in scoring position. That was just her 4th walk of the season. So, all importantly, lead off aboard. We got a pinch runner here, Steph.
We do have pinch runner. It looks like number 8,
Jessie
Keach, who definitely has some wheels over there.
Yeah, both teams just having a chat as well, just while the substitution's being made. Steph Collett, like you said, Steph has got 2 hits so far in this game. Jessie Keach has got some wheels, so if we get into a hitter's count, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a hit and run. Get that runner on her bike and see if Collett can bring one in. Really stretch that lead a little and put the Rebels to the sword. Shows bunt. Got a bit of backspin to it. Press leaves it alone.
Clever.
Not bad, not bad, but because it came off the first pitch lead, it's gone foul.
I do love
Another surprise to me.
I'm staring here as Collett actually did pretty well, but plenty of spin on the ball from Peterson.
Yeah, I do love that by Sturt. Like, Steph's gone 2 for 2 tonight. She's hitting the ball so well. They've got enough trust in the bottom of, like, the next few hitters coming through in their lineup that they are willing to put Steph in that sack bunt position and to drive in some runners, as we see a pinch hitter on deck for Sturt in Riley Moore.
Yeah, Strandland drew up in the DP role. There's Riley Moore. Came across from Walkerville this year with Steph Collett, who's the batter in the box now. Foul this one off. Seeing the ball so well tonight. Collett looks very comfortable and an all familiar sight. The filthy front of the uniform as well. She puts the body on the line at all costs. Steph Collett, gutsy play.
Change up.
Low for a ball. Still ahead of the count though, Lee. Plenty of time to see it.
Well, that's what she's not looking for, Steph. That's why I'm throwing it.
Keach on first. Collett fouls one off. Stays alive. Glenelg's next game, Seacombe this Saturday, which is Pride Round. 4 p.m. the broadcasts. West Torrens supporting -18. Ground ball to short. Here's Wheatley. Over to Nicholson. So the lead runner is retired for the first out. And Steph Collett will replace Keach at 1. Let's have a look at the CMAX replay.
Great throw, that great field by Megs with her hands at shortstop, stays low, has a great dart throw straight to Tate at 2, who makes it out quite comfortably at 2. But Steph does a good job of speeding up the line to break up that double play.
So fielder's choice on Collett and Keach forced out at second. Here's Riley Moore. Yeah, because it's a warm and still night, there's a few bugs around, and you might have seen a couple of the players fanning them away. Foul ball. And there's Coach Adams there just avoiding the hard hit shot from Riley Moore that goes all the way into the corner.
That was a hard hit shot by Riley. She hasn't had a whole lot of at-bats yet in this season. Only a 4th at-bat in A-grade Premier League this season. Notably a really established pitcher. I think it has potentially been hitting a little bit through B-grade though, so it'll be interesting to see what she does here.
You know what I love about Riley? She's already given back a youngster. Assistant coach of one of our junior state teams as the development coach. In good hands as well with the likes of Reggie Fairley and Nat Sutton and Karen Dale, also part of that coaching group. So she had plenty of experience to learn off of.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I know myself, when I started getting through coaching, I learned a lot about myself as a player as well, and my own areas of improvement by helping out and giving back to other younger, more up-and-coming athletes in the sport.
Yeah, I'd agree with that sentiment. I became a better player after I tried my hand at coaching. There's that change-up you wanted, Lee. Might be a batter too late, but
about 4 pitches too late.
Collett on first. 5-3 lead for the Falcons and another foul. So only the third batter of the inning, but we've seen a bunch of pitches. Is Gemma Cochran in the background? She's
on the injured
missing
list.
tonight, on the injured list. Yep. Key player for the Rebels and one of our favourites here at the commentary. Swing and a miss. So Peterson, that's her first strikeout, believe it or not, since the second inning, but it's her 6th of the game. And that's out number 2 for the inning as well. Here's Abby Kennedy, put down a great bunt last time she came up to bat, which led off the 4th inning, and she was the run that crossed the plate on the sacrifice fly from Belinda White. Which is that one for a called strike. So Peterson just going to work. Another strike. Head of the count.
She just toys with you, doesn't she, Jade? She gets ahead in the count. That's what pitchers do. Good pitchers do that.
Strikeout on 3 pitches for strikeout number 7 for Peterson. And, well, we're past Scott Radigan's prediction that this one would go 4, but we're in the middle of the 5th now with the Falcons leading 5-3. So with batters 2, 3, 4 due up for the Rebels, and at the 70-minute mark, well, we might need the Rebels to put a couple on if they want to be a chance in this game at this moment. Crucial, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, definitely crucial, especially going into the bottom of the 5th inning here. If Glenelg can tack a few runs on, starting that 6th inning, if we get there, Sturt are up to 9-1-2. So that, like, really critical top half of their lineup that seems to be doing a lot of damage tonight. So really important right now for Glenelg to tack a few runs here. Even it up, ideally, or even a few to jump ahead would be obviously ideal for him.
Lily, your good mate Derek provided us with the stats, and we mentioned just before that Falcons average 5 runs a game, but they also average 3 against. That's the current score line, and the Rebels average 4 runs for and almost 6 runs against. So the score line, you would say, pretty accurate to our man's stats.
Yeah, I think so. I think he knows what he's doing, at any rate, but he tells me he does, so take him on his word.
Wheatley fouls the first one off, and Steph Drzezinski just flinches a little bit. It's okay, there's a fence in front of us.
Megan's had a good night with the bat. 2 times up, 2 times on. 2 votes.
With an RBI.
Yep.
Swings at that low one, and she's a little frustrated with herself by the looks of things, and Fidge all smiles because she got away with one there.
That's a good pitch.
Ground ball to White. Just comes up around about waist height, and so takes a little bit to gather that one, but she's got that arm to throw out the runner that's retired. 6-3 on the CMAX replay.
Yeah, you can see here Bell does a good job of staying behind the ball. As it took that little bit of a skip, she uses her body just to keep it in front, fires you out at 1, no doubter.
Now, it's hard to see Ruby pitching so well and not mention her sister, who's about to start the NCAA season.
Right.
For Hawaii.
The Bows. Yeah, that'll...
Ground ball from Prest. White has to come and get it. Pumps it a couple of times before she fires it across for the second out. Back-to-back ground balls for White. 1-2 retired. Here comes Carissa McBurney. Yeah, pretty key outs as well, because I mentioned it after the end of the second inning when Glenelg went out to that 3-1 lead, that it was the top 3 batters that were doing the damage. Well, Fitch has been able to retire him as this one popped up to right field. Abby Kennedy moves across and takes a great catch out there at right field to retire the side, make it 10 retired in a row now And Glenelg just seemed to have a stranglehold on this game. Abby Kennedy on the CMAX replay. Into foul territory, tracked it really well, took a good catch.
Safe fielder out there, Abby. I'm impressed with her.
Retiring 10 in a row as well. So Fidge, after giving up 3 early runs, has really settled in. 3 strikeouts in the third, and then really letting the field do the work, hasn't she? There's been 4 ground balls and 2 pop-ups in the last 2 innings, so really pitching well to her fielders. Glenelg maybe sensing that we're out of reach, maybe, don't know, or dangerous part of the lineup coming up, so maybe mixing it up a little with about 15 minutes to go. So if we start an inning, we'll finish an inning. There's no new innings with past 85 minutes, but Bron Sawyer is going through her warm-ups, and she's coming in to throw the 6th inning.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Best in the business. Special comments coming to you from Lee Hull, and we always like to thank our broadcast partners, MC Sportswear, Infinity Signs, CBS, CPC, MK Services, all the initials, and of course CMAX. Bron Sawyer's pitched in 2 games this season so far, 14 batters faced. That one's low.
For Bron to be successful here, she has really good topspin on her pitches. She just needs to make sure she hits good spots and gets those Sturt hitters to hit to their fielders. She just misses that one there, as Rachel has a pretty keen eye down there in the 9 hole. She's pretty nifty at picking herself a walk to turn the top of the lineup over for Sturt. She seems to do it far too often.
Base on ball, so lead off aboard for the dangerous top order for the Falcons. And, well, if you jump the gun and rode off the Falcons, I think you'd be thinking again, because the performance that they've put in tonight is going to earn them a spot back in the top 4 again. And they've got games in hand as well. Still got 10 games, including tonight, to go. So 9 after tonight. And if they're starting their run for the finals, they could even be in contention for maybe a top 3 spot, because those top 3 teams are actually fighting each other throughout the back half of this season, with Torrens playing Port Adelaide twice. They've got Walkerville as well in this season to go in this minor round.
There's some hitting in the top 4 sides, isn't there?
There's still plenty of games to go.
Yep.
That's for sure.
Yep, Walkerville have got to play Port Adelaide twice more this season. Yeah, if Sturt can get on a bit of a run, might make a charge for a double chance. Late foul ball called as Press played the lead runner. Well, Lee, what'd you see, mate?
Well, I'm just having a look at the replay now, James, just to confirm.
Have you got an advanced copy of the replay? Here it is on the CMAX replay. Tonkin right up the front of the box as she taught in the juniors. Fouls it down. And Press takes it in the batter's box, which is in foul territory.
Yep.
Reaches for a high one. Great catch from Wheatley, and she has a ping at first base. It's a long play to make on the backhand side from shortstop, and that'll have a look at the CMAX replay, but that's the first out. Line drive to shortstop. It's high and outside. She was able to pull it hard to shortstop.
Yeah, absolutely smoked. You can see she only takes her hands to extension. She doesn't try and do too much, maybe wraps a little bit rather than going up the middle of it, but there was a cracking shot, and Meg did a really good job to read that ball.
Such a smart player, isn't she, Sarah, over many years. She's not that old neither, but she's been playing a long time, it seems, at the top level.
Played in that national championship that we often speak about with the under-19s.
She's got 2 national championships.
Megan Wheatley.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were talking about Sarah. Megan
what I
Wheatley,
was talking
sorry.
about, yeah.
Sorry, that was me. Yeah, no, Megan
Sarah
Wheatley did.
was in that under-19 championship as well.
Yeah.
Just the one out as Neve Adams fouls this one off, and a 2-0 count. Well, a dangerous batter to have up because the infield's back because she has that power, but the 2 times she's got aboard so far this game, both running bunts. Goes after this one. Great play from Shepherd, who wants the lead runner. Take Nicholson. Forces Tonkin out at 2. Adams replaces her at 1, so 2 outs. Bron Sawyer getting the job done. Great play from Shepherd on the CMAX replay.
Yeah, love that aggression by Glenelg. Still going at him, trying to get those tricky plays, make those lead plays, test themselves. And it really pays off here because now we've got Belinda White up to bat with the runner at 1, not in scoring position, which is a huge, huge difference here.
Double, triple sacrifice fly for White so far tonight. Her 4th plate appearance. Crushes this to left field. And Neve Adams will be happy just advancing to 2. Lee, would you have been tempted to
Pass her up?
walk?
Yeah. Well, you just went through her batting so far, and it continues.
I think with a runner on first and not the base open, at this point in the game, there's a good chance you may as well go at her just because you do have Maddie Cameron behind her, who has just as much power as Bell.
Yeah, but there's 2 out, isn't there?
Yep, 2 out.
Well, it doesn't go first pitch, and it's a called strike. Maybe a good idea just to get the timing of Bron Sawyer. A different pitcher to Peterson. Still has some zip. Keeps it low. Trying to get Cameron chasing a bad pitch. It's a 1-1 count. There's 2 runners aboard, and Falcons lead by 2 with 2 on and 2 out. Crushes it deep centre field, and right where Caitlin Carroll has camped herself for the 3rd out. So Bron Sawyer coming in, a master stroke from the coaching staff at the Rebels, keeps the Falcons scoreless in the 6th.
Very good effort, wasn't it, from the Rebels then?
Yeah, every scoreless inning is a good inning, particularly in an inning that comes with a hit from Belinda White. Steph, what about 9 minutes to go? So Falcons need a quick one to get a 7th inning. Otherwise, it's the Rebels that need to string a few hits together, score 2 to tie it, 3 to win it. They got run over the top last Friday night in the CFS round in the hills at Anembo Park. It was a very exciting finish.
Gee, they played well up until that last bit, didn't they?
Yeah.
Glenelg. As good as I've seen them played, I reckon, this season.
Glenelg hitters up to bat in this bottom of the 6th, which could be that last effort for Glenelg, are Shepherd, Peterson and Nicholson. Fidge has had quite a bit of success against those hitters tonight, with all 3 of them having 2 strikeouts to their names. So might look to see some adjustments or even some pinch hitters coming through. But for the young Ruby Fidge, you'd have to think that gives her a bit of confidence going into this last inning.
Yeah, great point, Steph. And for Shepherd, who's a young star on the rise, probably stats show that she's a bit better than 2 strikeouts in a game, but just shows that the quality of this young pitcher from the Falcons is really testing all hitters.
She's just done such a good job of painting that outside corner, mixing in the changeup where she needs, and that's where a lot of her damage has come. She's shown that inside pitch where she should, just to keep it, mix them up. But that outside drop ball, Ruby has some fantastic top spin on all their pitches. Sometimes it might not be, you might not be able to see it so much on the camera, but I've been on the receiving end of it, and I can tell you she's got some fantastic sort of natural top spin on all of those pitches.
Fouls this one off, and Shepherd on a 3-0 count will now go 3-1. Pride round this Saturday. West Torrens Club round supporting -18. We've got a special guest, AFLW player throwing the first pitch, joining us in commentary as well. Gets a piece of this up the middle, but Belinda White stretches out for that one to take a good catch. She moves very fluidly through the diamond, does she? Let's have a look at the CMAX replay. She actually went half a step down the 5-6 hole, but able to read that one well for the first out.
Brings up the pitcher, I believe, Bron. Just noting, see how she's quite far off the plate, so that outside pitch from Ruby could be a real weapon right here.
Swing and a miss on that one, and every time I mention the Pride round, something happens, so I'll probably try and jump in a little bit here to help promote it. Softball SA Hall of Famer Mel McGee joining us on commentary. Lee will be here.
Excellent.
Ground ball, Adams charges in, fires it across for the second out. There we go, done it again. And the cause is a good one. Supporting -18, you can buy stubby holders and rainbow socks, and you're also encouraged to come to the ground in your rainbow outfit and really support a great cause, Pride round, where West Torrens in their 3rd year out to educate. Steph, help me out here. Advocate, educate, and celebrate.
That's the one.
LGBTIQ
we'll
community.
learn a lot more about it when actually in the next couple of weeks I participate in -18 training at my own workplace at Lululemon.
Lululemon, there
Yeah.
you go. They're getting a bit of a shout out.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Send them an invoice, I think.
Just a great example of one of the amazing things that -18 do, which is provide workplace training to a lot of workplaces out there
Amazing.
on inclusivity and just around like language and ways that you can actually promote and support the Pride community within the workplace.
Ground ball to Straps, and she will make the out, and that'll do it. Ball game called from plate umpire Macaulay. And although an early scare, the Falcons have got over the top of the Rebels 5-3. Here's a CMAX replay of that final out. And while we got the opportunity with Steph and Lee, let's talk over CMAX clinical performance. Player of the game.
Well, it's pretty hard to go past Belinda White. She had a single, a double, a triple, and a sacrifice fly. I'm not sure how many RBIs that led her with, but I know it was quite a lot. She had a couple of stellar plays at shortstop and a double play all by herself. 3
RBIs for the game, so good one there, Steph. What about Millie Fidge?
Millie Fidge.
What about Ruby Fidge? Ruby Fidge, after the 3rd run was scored way back in the 2nd inning, she went on a tear, retired 13 batters in a row.
Not a single batter got on base after that, I don't think.
Well, I think the best 3 players, now I'm throwing a blanket over 3, but Bell was clearly the best in my opinion, followed by Ruby, and then Caitlin Carroll. I thought she had a terrific night.
Yeah, that's a great point you make there, Lee. Caitlin Carroll with a double and a walk, 2 runs scored. Megan Wheatley for Glenelg had 2 hits and an RBI. Katie Press 2 hits and an RBI as well. So some pretty good performers on both sides, but you can't go past the champ, the Olympian, the legend, Belinda White. Well, guys, thank you for coming out and being part of this broadcast. I know plenty of chat about it over the weekend, but I can guarantee you that we've still got another 8 games to go in the Premier League season. Then we'll bring you all the final series. So don't you worry, guys. We're still here for the remainder of the season, and we're planning on being back again in 23-24. But producer Brandon's giving me the roll up, and he wants to get going. We're going to see you Saturday, 4 p.m. game, Pride round. Please make sure you join us. Falcons 5-3 winners tonight over the Rebels. Good night.
Good night.